Okay, so I'm going to just chat a little bit about improving your credit rating and debt management, because that very definitely has an impact on cash flow. And your business, ladies and gentlemen, will often suffer, not because it's a bad business, but because you and I are competing with our business for its cash flow. I like that car with the wheel with the little sign on the back, very expensive vehicle. So I go and buy that Mercedes-Benz. Okay. But my business is going to battle to pay that installment every month. So is it a problem with my business, or is it a problem with me and my wants? And that's why the formalization of your business is so important, ladies and gentlemen, where you separate your private expenses from your business expenses, so that you can assess your business as whether it's been viable, profitable or not. We have seen plenty of small businesses that suffer seriously because of the customer, the owner's competition with that business. And that's why I like closed corporations and companies and trusts, because that gives you the imperative of separating private and business expenditure. Okay, so if you've got a bad debt management system, or you've got no debt management system at all, or you've got bad credit, this, ladies and gentlemen, can cause to a lot of stress and angst and heartache. All over the world, there are families that break up. There are partners that break up because of the stress and strains of bad finance. And it doesn't matter how old you are. Every time you apply for credit, you tick a little box that gives the supplier of credit the right to check out your debt management. And if you skip a month, you pay your credit card a day late, or you don't pay your cell phone account at all, it is on a central database in South Africa and all over the world, for those that are watching on YouTube, where they will pick up that you have actually mismanaged that debt. So you need to address that situation. I'm going to explain to you. In South Africa, we have a website called www.creditexpert.co.za. If you have no internet access, the company that, and I was just researching that for this presentation, is called Experian. But I think there's also TransUnion and there's a couple of credit bureaus where you can go log in, put in your identification details, your ID number, your full names, your address, and they will give you a credit report free of charge. So you now know what everyone else knows about your credit management. Every single person in this room needs to do that, ladies and gentlemen. It just helps to know where you're at as far as credit and debt management is concerned. If there's a mistake, and there could be a mistake, then you need to fix it. If they've made the mistake, you need to lodge an objection, go to an attorney, get this judgment rescinded, taken off your name. Because those bad credit habits lie there for 5 years. So that doctor's bill of 120 Rand that you forgot about 3 or 4 years ago, they don't forget about it if it's on your record. So have a look at that. As a non-bank employee, I'm not allowed, or not allowed to, they said to me I mustn't punt any bank products. But I think there's two that in my game, in your game, I think are vital. Number one, they have what they call a specialized credit unit. If you as a Nedbank business owner are experiencing any problems with your cash flow or your business, go and chat to them. They've got a special unit to deal with it. I think that's tremendous. You know, the second thing that they're doing is because very often, if you have not got good credit, you can't open a bank account. Do you find that? They've got what they call a business enabler account, which allows you to have a bank account. After a couple of months, I don't know how many months, Charlene, but after a couple of months, they will then assess the way you've managed that account and then give you a bank account. Check account, normal check account. So I think that's wonderful from a Nedbank perspective. So have a look at your credit status. Very, very important. You may want to settle your debts, and you think this is a huge mountain that I can't even begin to climb. I've got good news for you today. There's a couple of tips I want to share with you that will help you settle your debts. And here they are. what you need to do is on a sheet of paper identify all your debts. No matter how big, no matter how small it is, be honest with yourself. Write it down and put the amount, how long the term is left to pay on that debt, and the amount of the monthly installments. But what I want you to do is actually first get your partner's help. If you're married, get your husband or your wife's help. Because it's very difficult for you as a business owner to do this on your own. If you're in partnership with someone in your business, you need to get your partner's help. Because you cannot fight this fight on your own. Trust me on that. You need to get as much assistance as you can. And then once you've got that list of debt sorted, and what you do is you put the smallest amount, the smallest payment period that is left first. So in my case, I've got a balance of 5,000 rand. I need 1,000 rand payment period, and I've got 12 months to go. You can see the maths is not that good there, but the principle is the next one is then the second lowest. So you work on a remaining period basis. So it's 12 months, then maybe 18 months, then maybe 24 months, and then your bond might be 240 months. You get the drift, you get the feeling there. Start with all your debt, the shortest one left. And if you're serious about turbocharging your debt, what you need to do is say, okay, I'm going to take an extra 100 rand. I'm not going to go to the keg and barrel on Friday night. I'm going to take that 100 rand and I'm going to add it on to my shortest debt. So now I'm going to pay 1,100 rand. Does that make sense? So what you'll do then, ladies and gentlemen, is you'll bring the period down. So instead of paying it over 12 months, you might now pay it over 9 months. Once you've paid after 9 months, you take that same 1,100 rand. Because remember, you're disciplined now, you're in the zone. You take that 1,100 rand, you apply it to the next debt. So when that next debt is finished, paid off, then you take that money again and you just add it onto the next debt, and so on and so on and so on. Is this procedure pretty easy? Million rand debt, wipe out about 7.5 years. Can be done. Will depend upon your discipline, your interest rates, and the term that you've got left. So that's one way of making a concerted debt effort. Second is, when the interest rates go down, and they will go down, if you read today's paper, you'll see that there's talk of it going down again. Don't reduce your payment. Keep it the same. After all, you're used to it. You've made it now, you're paying it. So have a look at that. And the last thing is, I'm not saying don't do it, ladies and gentlemen, but I find debt consolidation is very difficult. In fact, you see I've said something like it's not for sissies. Okay, because what you're going to do is you're going to find that you consolidate your debt maybe into one big payment. All of a sudden you've got an extra 100 and 200 rand a month available, and if you don't have the discipline, you know what you're going to do? You're going to go spend that 200 rand a month again. So be aware, don't focus on the payment installment, focus on the globular amount of the debt. So from a debt planning perspective, you can imagine how better off your cash flow will be if you have no debt, or as little debt as possible. Golden rule, you know the golden rule. He who has the gold rules. Golden rule is start off with your private, non-tax deductible debts first. So don't go and wipe out your car installment lease in your business when you still owe money on a personal loan for education. So start with your private debt first, if I may make that suggestion. If you've almost paid off your car and you've got a problem, and maybe refinance that car, something like that. So refinance is an option. I personally don't like it, but as I said, if you're in a desperate situation, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes desperate measures are required. Be aware of debt agencies. You can find very often in any situation where you pay off a debt for 12 months, and at the end of the 12 months, using an agency, you still owe exactly the same that you paid before. Okay, there's so many costs and admin fees involved that you're actually paying nothing for. So try and avoid it, but if you do have to go that route, read the fine print so that you know where you're at. But the best thing for me is if you can negotiate a settlement. Go directly to the person that has put you in that scenario and say, sorry sir, I apologize, but I'm happy to coming to some form of an agreement with you where I pay this off, you can charge me the interest and then you negotiate a settlement on that basis. We did that with a guy that owed 9,000 Rand on his vehicle accident claim, and we offered him 7,000 and they accepted it. His mother helped him, that helped a little bit. So try and negotiate where you can. So in summary, ladies and gentlemen, what I'd like to say to you, administration, cash flow is vital to your small business. Profit is really, really important, but cash flow is actually more important. Remember, only bad debt is bad. We know what bad debt is now. Okay? And thirdly, I can stand up here all day, Bill can stand up all afternoon, the Nedbankers can stand and speak to you each and every day of your life. But the only person that can make a difference to cash flow is you.